All right, happy Friday night, everybody. Welcome into the Hat Creek Interior Studios. It is the daily broadcast brought to you in part by The Reserve, a culinary tavern in Lubbock, 103rd and Quaker. They're open tonight. They're open this weekend. You can watch all the games and take in the great brunch at The Reserve. Also by Shropshire Insurance of Texas, big enough for the whole state, based in Lubbock, independent, just like Great West Texans. And of course, everybody getting in on the United Supermarkets chat line. All right, hope everybody had a great Christmas Day, great Christmas week. If you were back at work today, we salute you. We're back tonight. We'll go as long as the conversation is good. I've been battling a little bit of a sinus infection, whatever, this week. It's not been pleasant. It's not been fun. But then again, it could be worse. I could have a broken leg, and I don't have a broken leg. So really, I'm going to tell you tonight, as long as the comments and questions are good and you guys keep it going, I'll hang out with you. Otherwise, we're probably going to, kind of take it easy a little bit on a Friday, ease our way into the weekend, and then get ready for a huge week next week as we get ready for Texas Tech and Oregon in the Orange Bowl. So let's make it happen. You guys jump in on the United Supermarkets chat line in 3, in 2. Good evening, West Texans, all you good, fine, friendly folks out there who wish you were. I'm Ryan Hyatt, TheRaiderland.com. You start your day every day there. We get you on the Raiderland hot links. That's always cool stuff, right? You like that. And the best and freshest links brought to you by Jackson Brothers Meat Locker down in Post, Texas, USA. If you don't have any of their jerky for your holiday plant or parties and everything, you're just not doing it right. You need to get a hold of them. All right, here's what we got for you tonight. A couple of different things. We got the breaking news today. Kyle Whittingham, former Utah coach, Cast-Off Utah coach. The coach Utah said, yeah, you can go. You may go now. We've had a coach in waiting for like 15 years. You can go. Kyle Whittingham now the presumptive next head coach at Michigan. What does that say about Michigan? What does it say about Utah? What does it say about anything and everything in your thoughts? To me, it tells me where Utah went and they couldn't get coaches they wanted. They were going to get Kalen DeBoer at Alabama. They weren't going to get fill-in-the-blank coach to go. They got a guy that Utah ran out of the building. There's no other way to look at it. Utah ran him off, right? They ran him off. Your thoughts on that? We have defined Texas Tech head coach Joey McGuire using just one word. How would you define Texas Tech's head coach if you only get one word to describe him? And then the whole conference, do you root for your teams in the conference in the bowl games or not? Does it matter? What do the bowl games? Do the bowl games tell you anything any more about a conference or just a program? I would submit to you that at this point, bowl games tell me more about where a program is than a conference, because the teams now vary so widely on what their agendas are going into the bowl games, everything else. Coaches coming and going, players coming and going. That nothing is equal. Nothing in the bowl games really equates to what we saw in the regular season, other than the ones in the college football playoff. Most Texan thing you did this week, you tell us that. It is Friday. I had to look. I had to double check. It is Friday. And then the coolest gift you got, whatever that may be. Give us the coolest gift you got. Jump in on the United Supermarket chat line on Twitter at Ryan Hyatt Media. Facebook page, always free. Subscribe to that, Ryan Hyatt's Raiderland. And for everybody on our YouTube channel, we appreciate you being out there. Same thing, it's free for Ryan Hyatt's Raiderland. Invite your friends in, share it. Let's go. Good comments, good questions. We'll go as long as you guys want to go tonight. Otherwise, I still don't have much of a voice. I'm feeling better. I just don't have much of a voice. James gets in on Facebook. Thank you, United Supermarkets. Most Texan thing, my wife made Christmas Day enchiladas for lunch with homemade guacamole. Enchiladas. Not bad. Not bad at all. We had a Mexican food casserole that my wife made yesterday to go along with some other cool stuff that we had happening here at the house. And I could add that. I could have eaten it all day long. Breakfast, lunch, supper. Threw in the sausage balls for breakfast. So I kind of broke up the casserole with the sausage balls during the day. I agree. So define Joey McGuire one word. If I had to define Joey McGuire utilizing one word, it might be energy, energetic, something along those lines. I think that might be one of the words I would look at. What would your words be? On Twitter X, JTB, latest word on a portal quarterback. Since nobody else is talking about him going anywhere, it sure seems like Sorsby out of Cincinnati. It seemed like Sorsby early on, seems like Sorsby late. On 3 quarterback valuations, talking about how much money they're going to make this year compared to last year. Tech's probably got to shell out about $750,000, I would think, plus or minus in that marketplace. We'll look at that as the week goes on into next week. JCTT, this has been a coaches conference. 5-star recruits aren't swinging from money trees on plains or in desert. Got a coach. Well, actually, they are in Lubbock. You know, they really are now. Thoughts on Tech Orange Bowl uniforms? Did I miss it? Have they released the uniform? Did they do that today? I may have missed it. It's entirely possible. I would love for them to do a very classical black helmet with the real double T, red tops, white pants stripes, black shoes. But that's just me. I don't know. I hadn't seen it. You know? That's just me. Yeah, if they release that today, I figured they usually release it like a couple of days before, but maybe with the bowl game and everything, they've got to do it differently. Heck, I don't even know if Tech is the designated home team. I would assume, being the higher seed, that Tech would get to wear what they want. Anything but all black would work for me. I think I'd be okay with that. So your thoughts on Michigan going after Kyle Whittingham? Tells me more about where Michigan was shopping and who they couldn't get, that they get a guy that Utah decided, and it's patently obvious that Utah decided they can't win in the Big 12 with Kyle Whittingham. So Michigan comes in and says, all right, yeah, but this guy's not going to be, texting, OnlyFans models during halftime. And we've had so much scandal, and bring him in. And a friend of mine, I think, texted earlier today that it, just reeks of a caretaker type deal. 2 years, 3 years max. It gives them time to figure things out at Utah. But the dude got run out of the Big 12, and now he's going to the Big 10. Maybe he's looking for an easier place to win. But Joseph Kyle Whittingham stops the downward spirals at Michigan. One word for McGuire: go. McGuire, focused. Good word. I like focused. That's good. Robert Christopher gets in on Facebook tonight. Doesn't Michigan know that Whittingham's Utah teams are soft? That's the narrative about teams that beat him, right? Yeah. All those soft, easy to beat Big 12 teams. Easy league, not very tough. Yet Whittingham couldn't win in it lately. JCTT, no historical throwback to old days when playing the Fighting Phil Knights. You had a couple of years ago when Tyler Shuck threw the pick six. Then you had the Spike Dykes days, and that's kind of, where you might go on that. Now, I would go, I want the 1960s. Anything from Donnie Anderson to Richard Campbell would be perfect. Give me that look. Old Texas Tech man, 9140. Coach Whittingham is the new coach of Michigan. Yeah, that's the rumor. 5-year deal. He'll last 2 years there. He'll go 2 years. Robert Christopher, Oregon going silver and black, hoping for some red in the Red Raiders. Yeah, I would imagine that there will be the red tops for sure. What they pair them with. If they're going silver and black, then you need to go red and white over that. That's where that needs to be. 100%. Coolest gift you got? I got to watch. I had a watch. Been wearing a watch for several months. My wife got tired of me wearing a watch that didn't keep time. So the next thing you know, I got a watch that keeps time. Best thing she did, she got me a watch with numbers that are really big that I can read. We like that. JC double T Joey, authentic as all get out. That's another good word, authentic. And it gets thrown around a lot in business and coaching and PR and you name it, authentic this, authentic that. And when he was hired, that introductory press conference, leading Raider power and everything else, you're going, all right, this dude is really excited to have a freaking job. I get it. I go from coaching high school to be a position coach at Baylor, and now you're a head coach in the Big 12. I'd be fired up too. But you come to find out that was everyday Joey McGuire going to work, that really was him, that wasn't a put on. That's just who he is, how he operates. And at the time, had people that followed him at Cedar Hill and, followed his career from the high school ranks and everything else saying, man, what you're seeing is what you're getting. And I'm like, okay, I'm jaded. I've been around this business since the 1980s, and okay, we'll see. No, they were right. That's who he is. Authentic is a very good word. I like that. We also asked the question tonight. We'll go as long as the conversation's good. My voice is totally shot. Will you root for the Big 12 in bowl games? My deal on this is yes. Would I rather see a Big 12 team win? LSU versus Houston? Yeah. BYU versus Georgia Tech? TCU, you get it. You get that. But any more of the bowl games outside the college football playoff, to me, I am not going to extract value that tells me the Big 12 is great or the Big 12 is bad based on what those teams do. That every team enters into the bowl games now with their own agenda, coming, going, or otherwise, and that to sit there and try to assign value to those games. And I would say the same thing, if the SEC loses all their bowl games, I'm not going to sit here and say, see, SEC's not very good. I'm going to say, yeah, the teams that were in the bowl games, they didn't care. They weren't there. Someday they will be able to get rid of them. We're getting there. It's possible, We're asking tonight the coolest gift you got. And if I can click the buttons properly. James on Facebook, Ryan Hyatt's Raiderland. Best gift, my son got new throwing shoes for discus and shot put. Shout out to Quarter 4, the old Cardinal Sports Center, now Quarter 4 in Lubbock. Throwing shoes, yeah. Yeah, and my son threw shoes. He'd throw them across the living room, throw them across his bedroom. He'd never put them up. I didn't realize they had an actual name and that you had to spend more money on them. Good to know. Old Texas Tech Man on our YouTube channel, Ryan Hyatt's Raiderland. You start your day every day on the website, theraiderland.com. Brought to you tonight by the Reserve Culinary Tavern in Lubbock, Texas. Saturday, Sunday brunch, awesome, fantastic. All the games on. And then the Shropshire Agency, independent just like West Texans. They cover the whole state, based out of Lubbock, Texas, USA. As we hang out with you in the Had Creek Interior Studios, you don't have to own a ranch to live like you do. They've got the finest in Western custom furniture and accessories. Check out the showroom on South Slide Road, 10101 South Slide Road, or go to the website, hadcreek.us. Get your orders in. They ship to you. White glove delivery service. They're taking customer service where it's never been before. No. Let's see. Old Texas Tech Man. Also, there are podcasts on YouTube of podcasters showing how Texas Tech players play their positions. Really? Wow. Well, that's good to know. All right. Well, next year we got to put Old Texas Tech Man on the gift list. No gifts, no family. Of course, that means you didn't have to clean up after anyone too, so it's all good. Joseph, coolest gift was a brand new pair of Skechers. Skechers? Nothing better for the feet. Like you're talking the shoes, right? Skechers? JCTT, yes. Root for the Big 12 doesn't matter to us, but need anything for any conference legitimacy. But then again, they're bowl games. See, that's the problem. If you win, then they'll discount it and say it doesn't matter. If you lose, They'll say, see, the Big 12 lost. You can't win in the eyes of the national media, which is why we must get rid of the bowl games. So it doesn't matter. Nobody wants to be there anymore either. I mean, teams just don't want to be there. Players don't want to be there. They're looking for the next NIL deal. Coaches, they don't want to have to deal with this garbage. I mean, look at the crap show that was the Liberty Bowl last year with Tech and Arkansas. Opt-outs everywhere. And you would have thought that Texas Tech had the advantage with the number of opt-outs by Arkansas, but the players that were there for Texas Tech obviously didn't care too much. Get rid of them. Nebraska and Utah in Vegas. Navy, Cincinnati in the Liberty Bowl. Arizona SMU Holiday Bowl. Yeah, I mean, if this was your weekend match, I guess it would be better than a week 2 slate of games for the most part, but not a whole lot. You know? Not a whole lot. It just makes you want to go, we need to do that. Describe Joey McGuire in one word. Talking about Michigan hiring the cast-off from Utah. The coach that Utah ran out of town. I was trying to think of equivalency to this. So Spike Dykes gets ushered into retirement. Make no mistake, in 1999, Spike was basically told, you can retire and make it look like you're leading a parade while you get run out of town, or you're going to get fired. Make no mistake about it. So he retires. So it would be like in December, late December of 1999. Is that a Earth, Wind, and Fire song? Spike Dykes announcing that, after tearfully leaving Texas Tech, where he'd been for years and years, I'm going to coach, whatever school it would have been. I'm trying to think of an equivalent to that. Not doing very good. Joseph, I don't root for the Big 12. All they ever do is bring us down. Thank you. Flaco Jimenez, everybody. Raul, it's all, never mind. Thank you, Mavericks, though, for that. Well, that sucks all the way around. Well, Raiderland may decide to own you, or in a nice way. James, I like McGuire's idea of having bowl games at the beginning of the season. Yeah, and it doesn't translate there because you are taking away home games that team. And I understand what he was saying, how he's articulating it, but no, it's never going to happen. It ain't going to work. The best way to do bowl games is to go to about a 72 teams playing in one professional college football league. You go to a 32-team playoff. The other 32 teams play in bowl games, and that everybody of the top 72 is guaranteed that extra game. And so you've got the bottom 32 squaring off in 16 bowl games, wherever that may be, however it may be. And then everything goes on. McGuire, man with passion for Texas Tech. McGuire, Red Raider for life. Most Texan thing you did this week, was it running the AC on Christmas Day? Because it very well could have been. Oh. We're getting this close to jumping into more Benadryl. Man, oh man. Brutal week. Hope you guys are doing better than I am on the allergy/sinus front, because it has been brutal this week. When it's 80 degrees this time of year, all the plants in West Texas are like, oh, good, we'll just keep throwing pollen off. We're still alive. It's a bad deal. We have not talked about the NFL games of yesterday. Hey, the Cowboys, they're just this close. If you watched them yesterday, they're just this close. I think Jerry Jones needs to double down on Marty's son. I think, the Cowboys are just this close. Don't make any changes in the offseason. Whatever you do, you're just so close. And then last night, the Chiefs, Broncos. The Broncos were playing with their food for most of the night. The Chiefs, the defense, they showed up. They were doing their part. But it was just painful. And now we know all of the Johnny-come-lately Chiefs fans from West Texas in the Texas Tech realm, this is what the Chiefs fans felt like prior to, Alex Smith growing up and Andy Reid, and they started their run of 10 years and a decade of dominance in the AFC West. This is what they were living with. This is what they had to watch every day. See, these games right now are why a lot of the old Chiefs fans hate the newcomers and all the Tech fans who just showed up, when Mahomes got there. Felt bad for him. Kelsey, final game. Taylor Swift, final game. We assume. Yeah. JC Double T, you want bowls, I'm in Joey's camp, front of season based on previous season. Okay, I'll stop you right there and go, no team anymore with all the turnover and everything else is like they were last season. You would have inadequate matchups based on metrics that don't exist. So we'll kill that right there. Tech opens in Cotton Bowl versus Bama, for example. Why do we think Bama's going to be any good next year or Tech's going to be any good next year based on what happened last year or this year? Yeah, put them at the end of the year. Give me the method I'm giving you. But yeah, just trying to do it based on last year is dumb. Just doesn't equate. McGuire equals greatness. In my 72 team scenario, why would bottom 32 have more participation than current bowls? It's just one more metric. Again, it's the bowls are for the TV networks to extract value from the advertisers, so they have to have a certain amount of content from December 15th to the end of the month. So you got to have 16 days worth of bowl games to put on. You want to put on the bigger brand names as opposed to Bowling Green and whatever else. Again, ESPN owns most of these bowls. It's filler content now. So if they're going to do that, you're just going to give the teams a guaranteed game at the end of the year and match up teams that didn't play each other during the regular season to fill out the year. That's all you're doing. It's nothing more than that. James, pollen and flies in December is a thing in Hades. Grasshoppers. Kelsey's last year sure didn't look like it the way he was acting after the game, and it should be. And if I were the Chiefs, I would highly encourage him. The Chiefs really kind of have to blow this thing up right now. If you got guys under first or second year contracts, keep them. Obviously, Mahomes needs to give back a substantial portion of his contract, rework that, do the Troy Aikman thing, do the Tom Brady thing. They are, 38 mil? 38 mil over the cap going into next year. That's not sustainable. If you want a 3.0, the 1.0 was with Tyreek Hill. 2.0 was after Hill up till last year. Anything else for Mahomes is 3.0. I also think it's a fair question to say if you're in a rebuild mode and Mahomes can't play till Game 6 of next year, is it time to move on from Andy Reid? Do you give the job to Spagnuolo, let him bring in an offensive coordinator, get rid of Nagy, that you blow this thing up and let next year be the learning curve year? Mahomes comes back whenever he can come back at some point in the season, but you don't really waste any capital on next year, and you move forward. We'll see what happens. ACC, SEC, Big Ten, 12-4. No wild card teams. Yeah, and that's if we maintain the current conferences. And, of course, I'm getting rid of conferences as we know them in football. We'll keep conferences in in non-football, but in football we're going to get rid of conferences. Going to be very busy as the commissar, kind of like commissar, czar, potentate, high potentate of college football. Going to be very busy doing that. Michigan's hiring Kyle Whittingham. Okay, Michigan. Going to hire Kyle Whittingham, who couldn't adjust to the Big 12, but he's going to – and here's the spin. Here's the spin. It's already happening. Look at the success he had with no resources whatsoever at Utah. 0 resources. And he came in and he ruled the roost in the Pac-12, and then he was going to do it in the Big 12, but it didn't happen. Ignore that in the Big 12. And look what he did out there in Utah with no. Imagine with Big Ten resources what he's gonna do. You know, like a PJ Fleck. Imagine what he's gonna do, or Brady Hoke. Joseph, if let's try it again. If Kansas City wants to really blow it up, they need to trade Mahomes. They get almost a whole team. No, you can't trade Mahomes because his contract makes him untradeable. So I understand what you're saying. Nobody can trade for Mahomes. It's just you can't trade for him. The contract is impossible to absorb for any team on a trade deal. You're not going to do. And then if you trade him for Mahomes, what you got nothing to put around him. So you can't trade Mahomes. You get rid of everybody else. You keep Mahomes. You build around Mahomes, young offensive lineman. Free agent offensive lineman. All offensive linemen. Jan, am I the only one that did not know that the Kansas City Chiefs were not in Kansas? Jan, I don't know. Did you know that the Big 12 championships are not in Kansas? That they're in Kansas City, Missouri? That all that stuff is on the Missouri side of the line, not on the Kansas side of the line. Yeah. Now, the riverboats, on the other hand, well, that's been a bone of contention. Patrick Mahomes so good he killed Arrowhead Stadium off. Had they not had the success they've had over the last decade, there's no way that state of Kansas would be lining up handing out a couple of $1 billion to, multi-billionaire owners. What a racket! I'd be embarrassed to show my face if I were Clark Hunt. Unbelievable. Yeah, well, and luckily it looks like they're going to build a stadium that has zero personality, zero anything about it, much like everything else that's been built in the last 10 years around the NFL. Hideous. Hate it. Sad. Sad for America. Sad for Americans. Christmas is good. We have a bit of a voice this afternoon. Thank goodness we don't have to do anything on air, Law Dog, until Monday. Hopefully we'll be right by then. We're just celebrating a longtime Big 12 Conference Coach of the Year, Kyle Whittingham, going to Michigan. And it's huge validation, I think, for the Big 12 that when a Big 10 power team needed a coach, they went to a team that can't do anything in the Big 12 for the most part. Yeah, Christmas is good, man. Mexican food casserole. Got a watch that tells time. You don't understand how big a deal that is, apparently, in my life, according to my wife. And then, big old jug of peanuts. I said peanuts for those of you scoring at home. Hey. All right. I can tell if I cough like that, I know where this thing's going. Y'all are the best. We're going to hit you hard tomorrow, Saturday, Colin with No Name, 5 Things We Know on a Sunday. And then coming up on Monday, it is game week. We'll be rocking and rolling. Got a couple of guests, I think, lined up. Looks like it might be interesting to talk to regarding Tech and Oregon. That'd be the football teams and not the entire state of Oregon. Which I've been to Oregon a couple of times. Nice. Rains a lot. You guys, though, are the best. We appreciate you being out there. Glad everybody jumped in with us on a Friday. I know everybody's busy this time of year. It means a hell of a lot to us that you'd carve out just a few minutes of time with us here on a Friday. We'll have this on the website. Wait for it. TheRaiderland.com. And then we'll see you on the internet, on Twitter, @Ryan Hyatt Media. Have a good Friday night, everybody.